Kerry Von Erich. Kerry Von Erich was born into wrestling royalty. As part of the legendary Von Erich family, he was destined for greatness inside the ring. With his movie star looks, unmatched athleticism, and undeniable charisma, he quickly became a fan favorite. But behind the bright lights of the squared circle, Kerry was fighting battles no one could see. In 1984, he reached the peak of his career when he won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, a moment that cemented his legacy. But just 2 years later, tragedy struck. Kerry was involved in a devastating motorcycle accident that shattered his foot. Doctors had no choice but to amputate it, but Kerry kept it a secret. He continued wrestling, unbelievably performing high-flying moves with a prosthetic foot, something fans never knew at the time. As if physical pain wasn't enough, Kerry also struggled with personal demons. He battled substance abuse for years, leading to multiple arrests. But the biggest secret he carried was his AIDS diagnosis, something he wrote about before his death. Sadly, in 1993, he took his own life, unable to cope with the weight of his struggles. Kerry Von Erich was a true warrior in the ring, but his greatest fight was the one the world never saw. A heartbreaking story of a man who had it all but lost everything. Friends, Kerry Von Erich's story is truly unbelievable. If this shocked you, hit the like button and tell me in the comments, what surprised you the most? Chris Colt, the untold tragedy of a wrestling rebel. Chris Colt was more than just a wrestler. He was a wild force of nature. With his face paint, chaotic energy, and unpredictable moves, he terrified opponents and thrilled audiences. But behind the scenes, he was fighting battles that no one could see. As his career peaked, so did his darkest struggles. Chris Colt lived a reckless life, deeply involved in and alcohol. He was known for his self-destructive behavior, often pushing limits both inside and outside the ring. But then came the whispers, rumors that he had contracted AIDS. In a time when the disease was rarely spoken about, Colt became even more isolated. By the mid-90s, the wrestling world had forgotten him, and his health rapidly declined. On May 23, 1995, he was found dead in a Seattle homeless shelter. Some say he died alone in an alley, while others claim he was discovered with a needle still in his arm. The truth remains unclear, but one thing is certain. Chris Colt's life ended far from the spotlight he once owned. His tragic story is a chilling reminder that even the wildest warriors can fall in silence. What do you think of his untold story? Let us know in the comments below. Now get ready, because the next wrestler's fate is even more shocking. André the Giant, Andrei Roussimoff. Everyone remembers him as the towering giant of wrestling, a man who seemed almost invincible. But behind the fame, behind the legend, was a man battling a condition that would slowly take everything from him. Standing at 7 feet 4 inches and weighing over 500 pounds, André was unlike anyone else in professional wrestling. He dominated the ring in the WWF, facing off against legends like Hulk Hogan. His sheer size made him a spectacle. But what many didn't know was that his gigantic stature came at a heavy cost. André suffered from acromegaly, a rare hormonal disorder that caused his body to continue growing uncontrollably. As time passed, the effects of his condition became more severe. His mobility worsened, and the pain became unbearable. Despite his health struggles, André refused to stop. He kept wrestling, kept entertaining, and kept hiding the truth from his fans. But his body was breaking down. Then whispers began. Was André suffering from more than just acromegaly? Some believe he battled AIDS, a rumor that has never been confirmed but continues to circulate. His sudden death in 1993, alone in a Paris hotel room, only added to the mystery. Officially, it was heart failure, but many still question if there was more to the story. What happened next to another wrestling icon will leave you speechless. Gorgeous George. André the Giant's story was tragic, but what happened to Gorgeous George is even more mysterious. He wasn't just a wrestler, he was the original superstar of professional wrestling, the man who introduced showmanship to the sport. With his platinum blonde curls, fancy robes, and over-the-top personality, he turned wrestling into entertainment. But behind the flashy persona was a dark reality that few ever knew. Born George Wagner, he transformed himself into Gorgeous George and quickly became one of the biggest celebrities of the 1940s and 50s. His matches were television spectacles, drawing millions of viewers. Even Muhammad Ali and James Brown credited him as an inspiration. But as his fame skyrocketed, his personal life spiraled. He struggled with alcoholism, financial troubles, and declining health, problems that only got worse with time. Then rumors started to spread. Many claimed that George had contracted AIDS, a shocking possibility in an era when the disease was barely understood. His official cause of death in 1963 was listed as a heart attack, but whispers persisted. Some believed his weakened state and sudden passing had more to it than met the eye. Despite his tragic downfall, Gorgeous George's influence lives on. Without him, wrestling might never have become the spectacle it is today. But his untold story remains one of the biggest mysteries in wrestling history. Terry Gordy. Gorgeous George revolutionized wrestling, but Terry Gordy was a different kind of legend. A powerhouse in the ring, known for his brute strength and unbreakable will. Fans remember him as a founding member of the fabulous Freebirds, a team that changed tag team wrestling forever. But what most people don't know is the dark battle he fought outside the ring, one that may have contributed to his shocking downfall. At just 14 years old, Gordy entered the wrestling world, quickly making a name for himself with his hard-hitting style. By his early 20s, he was a top star, feared by opponents and adored by fans. But with success came excess. His reckless lifestyle, substance abuse, and the brutal toll of wrestling began catching up to him. Then something terrifying happened. He slipped into a coma after an overdose in 1993. He survived, but he was never the same. His health declined rapidly, and his once promising career faded. Then came the shocking rumors. Some whispered that Gordy was secretly battling AIDS, and that it had weakened him even more. Others claimed it was his past struggles with addiction that led to his sudden death in 2001. Officially, the cause was a heart attack, but the unanswered questions still haunt wrestling fans. Terry Gordy was one of the toughest wrestlers of his time, but even he couldn't fight fate. Chris Von Erich. Terry Gordy's story was heartbreaking, but what happened to Chris Von Erich is something straight out of a nightmare. The Von Erich family was legendary in wrestling, but they were also cursed with unimaginable tragedies. Out of all the Von Erich brothers, Chris had the most heartbreaking story, one that fans still struggle to understand. Unlike his brothers, Chris wasn't built for wrestling. He was much smaller, weaker, and constantly dealing with health issues, including asthma and brittle bones. But he wanted nothing more than to follow in his family's footsteps. No matter how hard he tried, his body couldn't handle the brutal world of wrestling, leading to injuries that only worsened his condition. Frustration turned into depression, and depression turned into something even darker. Then came the whispers, rumors that Chris had been secretly battling AIDS, something that may have further contributed to his declining health. However, the truth remains unknown. What is known is that by 1991, at just 21 years old, he felt he had no way out. His tragic end became yet another chapter in the Von Erich family's long history of heartbreak. The Von Erich family lost almost all their sons in the most tragic ways imaginable. But Chris's story remains the most overlooked mystery of them all. Joey Marella. The Von Erich tragedy was heartbreaking, but Joey Marella's story is one of the most mysterious in WWE history. Unlike the wrestlers he officiated, Joey wasn't a superstar inside the ring, but he was just as important. As a WWE referee and the son of legendary commentator Gorilla Monsoon, he was always in the spotlight. Millions of fans watched his matches, but few knew the secret he may have been hiding. Joey's career peaked when he refereed the main event of WrestleMania 3, one of the biggest events in wrestling history. He was young, talented, and had a bright future ahead of him. But behind the scenes, there were whispers about his health. Some claimed he had a condition he never spoke about. Others believed he was struggling with personal demons, much like many in the wrestling business at the time. Then in 1994, tragedy struck. Joey was driving home after a show when he fell asleep at the wheel and crashed. He was just 31 years old. Officially, his cause of death was the accident, but over the years, rumors have swirled. Some have speculated that his health had been deteriorating before the crash. Others have gone even further, claiming there was more to the story than WWE ever admitted. Sherri Martel. Joey Marella's untimely death left fans with questions, but Sherri Martel's fate was even more chilling. She wasn't just a manager or a valet. She was a force of nature, a fierce competitor, and one of the most unforgettable women in wrestling history. Whether managing legends like Shawn Michaels, Randy Savage, or Ted DiBiase, or stepping into the ring herself, she stole every scene. But behind her larger-than-life persona, Sherri was battling demons that no one saw coming. By the late 90s, her career was winding down, but rumors about her health and personal struggles had begun to spread. Some believed she had a hidden illness, while others whispered about substance abuse issues. Then, in 2007, the unthinkable happened. Sherri was found dead at just 49 years old. Officially, the cause of death was listed as an overdose. But that's where the mystery deepens. Over the years, many have speculated that Sherri's health had been failing long before her passing. Some even claim she was battling a disease that weakened her immune system, making her more vulnerable. The most shocking rumors suggest that Sherri may have been suffering from AIDS, a secret that was never publicly confirmed. Was Sherri another victim of wrestling's darkest secrets? Or was there something even deeper that the world never knew? Either way, her death remains one of wrestling's most unsettling mysteries. Luna Vachon. Sherri Martel's passing left the wrestling world stunned, but Luna Vachon's fate was even more tragic. Known for her wild look, fierce attitude, and unmatched intensity, Luna wasn't just a wrestler, she was a trailblazer. From WWE to ECW, she brought chaos wherever she went, standing toe-to-toe with both men and women in the ring. But while fans admired her fearless persona, few knew the dark truth about her struggles behind the scenes. Throughout her career, Luna battled serious health problems, including mental illness and addiction. But there were whispers of something even more alarming. Rumors that she had been diagnosed with a life-threatening disease that slowly weakened her body over time. Some believe that Luna was quietly suffering from AIDS, a claim that was never officially confirmed. In 2010, tragedy struck. Luna was found dead in her home at just 48 years old. The cause? An accidental overdose, but many believe there was more to the story. Was her death simply the result of years of pain and addiction? Or was there a deeper, hidden truth that the world never fully uncovered? Her untamed spirit made her a legend, but the secrets surrounding her death continue to raise questions. Friends, if this story shocked you, make sure to like this video, comment your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable stories from wrestling history.